First contact in the void. Commander Sarah Chen stared through the viewport of the UEAS Hawking, watching the endless starfield blur past as they patrolled the outer reaches of human space. 20 years of deep space exploration had left humanity's best scientist soldier with more questions than answers about their place in the cosmos. Their antimatter drives could cross light years, their quantum computers could model entire solar systems, but they had yet to find another sapient species among the stars. The ship's eye broke through her contemplation. Commander, detecting unusual radiation signatures at bearing 047 Mark 012. Profile matches no known natural phenomena. Sarah straightened in her chair. Source: unknown vessel, approximately 2.4 kilometers in length. Severe structural damage detected. No response to standard hailing frequencies. Life signs: faint electromagnetic patterns consistent with powered life support systems, but rapidly failing. Current trajectory indicates it will enter the gravity well of the brown dwarf at coordinates. Plot an intercept course, Sarah commanded. Alert medical and first contact teams to stand by. Lieutenant Park, ready the tractor arrays. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency as the Hawking changed course. Through the viewport, Sarah could now make out a massive shape against the stars, an alien vessel unlike anything humanity had encountered. Its hull seemed to ripple with complex geometric patterns that defied Euclidean geometry, and even in its damaged state, it dwarfed their ship. Radiation levels within acceptable parameters, reported Lieutenant Park. But those hull patterns, they're not just decorative. The entire surface appears to be some kind of crystalline computing matrix. Sarah nodded. Bring us alongside. Prepare boarding teams. Full containment protocols, but weapons secured unless threatened. Remember, we're here to help. The alien ship's interior defied human architecture. Corridors curved in impossible ways, and surfaces seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. The boarding team's helmet displays struggled to maintain stable readings as they pressed deeper into the vessel. They found the survivors in what appeared to be a central chamber. Dozens of crystalline pods lined the walls, most dark and lifeless, but 3 still pulsed with a faint inner light. Inside each, a being floated in suspension. Their bodies seemed to be composed of living light, with multiple limbs that flickered and changed configuration like abstract geometric patterns. Medical team, report, Sarah commanded through the comm. Life signs present, but failing. Their biology: it's like nothing we've ever seen. They appear to be energy beings using these crystalline matrices as containment and interface systems, but the pods are losing power. Sarah studied the nearest pod. Its occupant's form stabilized briefly, revealing what might have been eyes, deep wells of awareness that seemed to peer directly into her soul. In that moment, she felt a whisper of communication, not in words but in concepts and emotions, desperation, hope, and a terrible warning. Get these pods stabilized and prepped for emergency transfer to the Hawking, she ordered. Whatever they're running from, whatever brought their ship to this state, they came to us for help. And humanity doesn't turn its back on those in need. The medical team worked frantically to adapt their equipment to interface with the alien technology. Hours stretched into days as they fought to keep the survivors alive while decoding the basics of their biology and technology. Sarah spent every free moment in the medical bay, watching the beings of light pulse in their temporary homes, wondering what secrets and knowledge they carried. On the 4th day, one of the survivors regained consciousness. Its form coalesced into a rough approximation of humanoid shape, perhaps an attempt at communication through familiarity. When it spoke, its words emerged as patterns of light that the ship's AI struggled to translate. "We are the last," it said. "The great darkness comes. Your people, you must be warned, must be prepared. We carry the knowledge, the only hope, but sharing brings death to all." Sarah leaned forward. "We'll protect you, help you recover. Whatever this darkness is, we'll face it together." The being's form flickered. "No, not possible. Our laws, absolute. The knowledge we carry, forbidden to share, price too high. Let us help you, Sarah insisted. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We've beaten them by working together, by sharing knowledge and resources. Perhaps the being's light dimmed. Perhaps that is why we were drawn here. To your ship, to your people. The patterns, they align. But first, trust must be earned. Wisdom proven. As Sarah left the medical bay that night, she knew humanity stood on the brink of its greatest challenge. These beings carried knowledge that could reshape their understanding of the universe. But accessing it would require more than just scientific brilliance or military might. It would demand proving that humanity deserved to be trusted with such power. The HFY Hawking continued its journey through the void, now carrying precious cargo and endless questions. Sarah Chen had wanted answers about humanity's place in the cosmos. Now she had them, along with the weight of two species' futures resting on her shoulders. The price of trust. The beams of light, which called themselves the Lumini, recovered slowly in the Hawking's modified containment units. Through carefully controlled interactions, they revealed fragments of their history. Their civilization had spanned galaxies, mastering energy and matter at fundamental levels. But with that mastery came responsibility, and terrible consequences for its misuse. Sarah spent hours studying their recorded history. The Lumini had learned to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself, creating technology that could reshape reality. But they'd also discovered that knowledge had a price. Each advancement risked drawing the attention of something they called the Void Hunters, entities that devoured civilizations that grew too powerful. Your species progresses quickly, the Lumini Elder, who Sarah had named Aurora, observed. But progress without wisdom brings destruction. We learned this truth too late. Yet you survived, Sarah countered. You found a way to fight them. Aurora's form rippled with what Sarah had learned to recognize as distress. No, we fled, carrying the last of our knowledge, our technology. The hunters follow. They always follow. To share our knowledge with you would doom both our peoples. Lieutenant Park interrupted via comm. Commander, long-range sensors detecting unusual gravitational distortions. Multiple signatures, approaching at FTL speeds. Sarah's blood ran cold. How many? 7 distinct signatures. Configuration matches nothing in our database. They're accelerating. Aurora's light dimmed to nearly nothing. They come. The hunters have found us. You must abandon us. Flee while you can. That's not how humanity operates, Sarah said firmly. We don't abandon people who need help. There has to be a solution. The only solution would require sharing forbidden knowledge. Aurora pulsed. The price. What if we earned it? Sarah interrupted. You said wisdom must be proven. Let us prove ourselves worthy of trust. The other Lumini gathered closer, their forms interweaving in silent communication. Finally, Aurora spoke again. There is a test, a way to prove worthiness. But failure means death for all. Success requires something our people lost long ago, the ability to sacrifice personal advancement for collective survival. Alarms blared through the ship, multiple vessels dropping out of FTL, Park reported. Their energy signatures, they're like nothing we've ever seen. They're charging weapons. Sarah looked at the Lumini. We're out of time. Test us. Let us prove humanity deserves to survive. Aurora's form expanded, tendrils of light reaching toward Sarah's temples. Very well. But remember, this knowledge cannot be untaken. The price of truth is eternal vigilance. As the alien consciousness touched her mind, Sarah saw visions of impossible technologies, of worlds burned to ash by their own advancement, of civilizations that rose too quickly and fell to the hunters. But she also saw the pattern, the key the Lumini had discovered too late, the way to advance without attracting the hunters' attention. The price was steep. It meant deliberately limiting their technological growth, sharing knowledge only when everyone was ready to bear its burden. It meant choosing collective survival over individual achievement. It meant becoming guardians rather than conquerors. The Void Hunter's weapons powered up, reality-destroying energies building to apocalyptic levels. But Sarah now understood what had to be done. She opened a channel to all human ships in range. "This is Commander Chen. What I'm about to ask will change everything we believe about progress and advancement. But sometimes the greatest victory isn't in what we achieve. It's in what we choose not to do. Stand by for Emergency Protocol Omega. Trust in humanity's greatest strength, our ability to adapt, to change, to choose wisdom over power." The Hunter's weapons fired, and Sarah Chen made her choice. Breaking point. The Void Hunter's weapons slammed into an invisible barrier around the Hawking. The knowledge Sarah received from the Lumini had let her reconfigure their shields into something new. Not a barrier of power, but a voluntary restraint. The Hunter's energy weapons, designed to punish advancement, found no technological hubris to feed upon. "Impossible," Aurora pulsed. "You understood, and chose correctly. All ships maintain defensive positions," Sarah commanded. "Power down all weapons systems. Our strength isn't in what we can do, it's in what we choose not to do." The Hunter's massive ships, black tears in the fabric of space, surrounded them. Their weapons fired again and again, each blast weakening as they found no technological pride to consume. Through the mental link with Aurora, Sarah understood their nature. They weren't evil, merely necessary. A cosmic immune system preventing civilizations from growing too powerful too quickly. But humanity's response confused them. Each time their weapons struck, the human ships powered down more systems, voluntarily limiting themselves. The Hawking's crew worked frantically to implement Sarah's instructions, dismantling advanced systems and replacing them with simpler alternatives. "They're scanning us," Park reported. "Energy signatures decreasing. They seem uncertain." The largest hunter vessel suddenly transmitted a signal, not in any language, but in pure mathematical concepts. Sarah felt Aurora's surprise through their connection. "They offer terms," the Lumini elder explained. "Never before. They wish to understand." Sarah stepped forward. "Open a channel to their lead ship. Let's show them there's another way. A path between stagnation and destruction." The negotiation that followed would reshape human civilization. The Hunters revealed they had destroyed countless species that raced toward godlike power without developing the wisdom to wield it. But humanity's choice to voluntarily limit itself, to accept guardianship over advancement rather than unlimited progress, offered a new possibility. "We can help guide other civilizations," Sarah proposed to both the Hunters and her superiors, teaching them to balance progress with responsibility. Not through force, but through example. The price was steep. Humanity would have to abandon certain technologies, accept limits on their advancement. But in return, they gained something far more valuable: a purpose in the cosmos, and the chance to prevent countless species from falling to the Hunters. Aurora's light brightened. "Perhaps this is why we were drawn to your ship. Not to share our technology, but to help forge a new path. One that neither fears progress nor worships it." As the Hunter ships withdrew, Sarah watched the stars through new eyes. Humanity's dream of unlimited advancement had died today, but something greater had been born: the wisdom to know when enough was enough, and the strength to help others find that same wisdom. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The age of reckless progress is over. The age of guided growth begins." Impossible choices. Sarah's decision rippled across human space. Not everyone accepted the new limitations. A faction of military leaders and scientists, led by Admiral Marcus Kane, saw submission to the Hunters as weakness. They gathered in secret on Europa, humanity's most advanced research base. "They've corrupted Commander Chen," Kane declared to his followers. "These Lumini have made us forget what makes humanity great: our drive to push boundaries, to exceed limitations." While the resistance grew, Sarah and Aurora worked to implement the new protocols. Each human colony had to learn to advance sustainably, measuring progress not in technological achievement, but in collective wisdom. The Lumini shared their experience, teaching humanity to recognize the signs of dangerous advancement. But Kane's faction made their move. Europa's quantum arrays activated, broadcasting advanced technological data across human space. "Let them come," Kane transmitted. "We'll show these hunters humanity's true strength." Multiple hunter signatures detected. Park's voice shook. "They're targeting every major human settlement." Sarah faced an impossible choice: stop Kane and sacrifice millions of innocent humans, or watch as the hunters eliminated their entire species. But there was a third option, one that required the ultimate display of voluntary restraint. Through her link with Aurora, Sarah broadcast to every human mind: "Look inside yourselves. See the pride, the hunger for power that drives us. Now choose to let it go. Not because we're weak, but because we're strong enough to want something better." Across human space, individuals made their choice. Research stations powered down. Warships disabled weapons. Colonies abandoned advanced technology, not through external force, but through individual choice multiplied millions of times. The hunters paused their attack, confronted with something unprecedented: a species choosing unity over power, wisdom over advancement. Even Kane, watching from Europa, as his people chose restraint over destruction, finally understood. "You didn't make us weaker," he told Sarah later. "You showed us what real strength looks like." The hunters withdrew again, but this time left something behind: knowledge, not of technology, but of purpose. Humanity would help guide younger civilizations, teaching the balance they had learned. They became watchers, guardians, and teachers. Sarah stood with Aurora, watching Earth's sun rise over Europa. "We chose to limit our reach," she said, "but our impact will be greater than ever." "Yes," Aurora's light pulsed warmly. "You have learned the hardest lesson: that true power lies not in what you can do, but in what you choose not to do." Legacy of Two Worlds. A century passed. Humanity and the Lumini evolved together, not in technology, but in understanding. The Hawking, now a museum ship, housed the greatest library of wisdom in known space. Young civilizations sent their brightest minds there to learn the art of balanced progress. Sarah Chen, her hair now white, but her mind sharp as ever through Lumini life extension teachings, guided a group of alien students through the ship's corridors. "Today," she announced, "you'll meet those who shaped this path." Aurora's light had dimmed with age, but gained complexity. The beam's form now shifted between patterns of impossible beauty, each movement a lesson in itself. The surviving Lumini had become humanity's partners in guardianship, their combined wisdom greater than either species alone. "The hunters visit less now," Aurora observed. "They understand we guide evolution toward harmony, not conquest." A new signal caught their attention. Deep space sensors detected a primitive civilization making its first faster-than-light transmission. Their technology was crude but advancing rapidly, too rapidly. "They follow our old path," Sarah said. "The path that nearly destroyed us both." Together, human and Lumini ships moved to make first contact. Not as conquerors or saviors, but as guides. They carried no weapons, no overwhelming technology. Their strength lay in their restraint, their power in their choices. As they approached the young civilization's homeworld, Sarah remembered her own first contact with the Lumini. "We offer them what you offered us," she told Aurora. "Not advancement, but understanding. Not power, but purpose." The young species leaders gathered to meet them. Sarah saw in their eyes the same hunger for progress that had once driven humanity, but she also saw potential for something greater. "Welcome," she told them, "to a larger universe. We bring not gifts of technology, but something far more valuable: the wisdom to advance without destruction, to grow without consuming ourselves." The hunters watched from the void, but found no reason to intervene. This was evolution as it should be, guided not by force but by choice, advancing not through power but through understanding. Aurora's light merged with the ship's illumination. Your people proved that strength lies not in domination, but in guardianship. You taught us that wisdom can be chosen, not just learned through catastrophe. Sarah nodded, watching the young civilization's first steps toward a greater destiny. Humanity had found its true purpose among the stars, not to conquer them, but to help them flourish, not to shine the brightest, but to help all lights shine together. The legacy of two worlds, human and Lamini, had become something greater than either could have achieved alone. In choosing limitation, they had found liberation. In accepting boundaries, they had transcended them. And in the vast darkness between the stars, countless young civilizations looked up at the night sky and saw not conquerors or destroyers, but teachers, guides, and friends, showing them a path to the stars that led not to destruction, but to understanding. The Void Hunters became watchers rather than destroyers, for they had found something new in the cosmos, species that chose wisdom over power, guardianship over dominion. And in that choice lay the seeds of a greater universe, one where advancement served life rather than consumed it. Sarah Chen's final log entry, recorded on her 150th birthday, said it simply: "We reached for the stars and found not power, but purpose. In choosing our limits, we found our greatness, and in teaching others to do the same, we achieved immortality."